Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Live Ones. Hope you all had a fantastic Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you, it feels like the season just started. And just like that, we're at the Super Bowl of college football, Rivalry Week. Very little stirs the soul, quite like these traditions that date back for over a century. This is the week that you throw out records, conference standings, and playoff standings for a couple of hours. They don't matter. Everyone gets up for these games, no matter what. Personally, I will be glued to about 4 different TVs all day today. We've got so much to cover between college football, college hoops, NBA, and NHL. Let's get right to it, and we're going to start with the game. And this opened up with Ohio State as a 7.5-point favorite. It's bet down to 7 now. Where in God's name is all this Michigan money coming from? Have you watched these two teams this season? Look, I get that Michigan's a top 10 defense for sure. You've got 2 edge rushers on this team that are future first-round NFL draft picks for sure. Ohio State's not going to put up a 50 spot on the Wolverines like they did against Purdue and Michigan State. But you've seen these two teams play a lot of the same opponents this year. Ohio State handled Penn State's tough defense easily, put up 33 points on them. Michigan damn near lost to them. They were down 17-14 with 3 minutes left. Ohio State wiped out Rutgers 52-13. Michigan didn't score a single point against them in the second half. Probably would have lost that game if it had gone 5 more minutes. Michigan 29-7 over Indiana. Ohio State beat them 54-7. And of course, Michigan's one loss came against Michigan State, where their top 10 defense gave up 37 points. Ohio State absolutely wiped out the Spartans 56-7, 500 yards of offense in the first half. The Buckeyes are going to slaughter Michigan today. It's going to be to the point where we're going to have to call the Geneva Convention to open a war crimes inquiry. Take the Buckeyes laying a touchdown all day today. Ohio State -7. That is as close to a lock as I can think of any game on the board today. So moving over to the Bedlam Bell game, Oklahoma and Oklahoma State, and the Sooners have no idea what's about to hit them. Playing the exact same conference schedule as Oklahoma, the Cowboys have amassed top 10 defensive ranks in almost every statistical category. The Cowboys have been one of the best spread teams in college football, and they've been perfect against Big 12 opponents. They've covered their last 9. This Cowboys team has only allowed 14 points a game against the Big 12, which is nothing but offense. They gave up 3 points to West Virginia, who are not pushovers. They shut out Texas Tech, a team that's more than capable of putting up 500 yards on a game on the regular. Moreover, the Cowboys are not one-dimensional. Against weak defenses, this team can throw up Big 12 numbers on offense. They scored 32 against Texas, 55 against Kansas, 63 against TCU. And the Sooners, well, they have certainly not been as advertised on defense when they were the consensus number 1 team coming into the season. Remember that? Hey, this is the year that they've got it figured out on defense. This is not a defense optional team anymore. 52nd in the nation in points per game allowed, 109th in the nation in passing yards allowed. Yes, they are 21st in the nation in running yards allowed, but that's because they're 109th in the nation against the pass. Nobody bothers to run on them when they can just torch them through the air. Watch what the Cowboys do today. Methodical drives, picking them apart 4 or 5 yards at a time, keeping the Sooners' offense off the field, limiting their drives, and then punishing them with a defense that's nice and well-rested. The Cowboys are going to embarrass the Sooners today at home. Utterly embarrass them. I am laying at them at anything less than -6. Right now it's -3.5. I'm grabbing that all day. Okay, so that is going to do it for college football, but we've got some college hoops action today, and a game kind of under the radar that not everybody's looking at today. Utah State against UTA. UTA is off to a rough start. The Mavericks have lost all 4 of their games against Division I opponents, failing to cover the spread in 3 of them. The Aggies have shaken off that disappointing opener against UC Davis. They've rattled off 4 straight wins. They've covered the spread in all 4 games, and 3 of them have been outright upsets. This Aggies team is a lot better than anyone gave them credit for at the beginning of the season. They've been rock solid on offense, scoring almost 80 points a game, a lot of it coming from their near-perfect free throw shooting. That's going to be a problem for the Mavericks, as they're near the bottom of the country on defense in points allowed, 3 points defense, and rebounding. The Aggies should light up the scoreboard today. So in terms of whether or not they can cover this 14.5-point line, we need to look at what the Mavericks are likely to do on offense. And the answer is probably not a whole hell of a lot. This is a team that struggles to get to 50 points against mid-tier to above-average teams like North Texas and Oklahoma State. This Aggies defense is not on Oklahoma State's level, but UTA is just really, really, really unspeakably bad. I expect Utah State to win by 20 today, the way these two teams have been playing today. Give me the Aggies minus 14.5 points. And so another game, probably not a lot of people are looking at today, but I think it's got a great angle. Montana State and Incarnate Word. The Incarnate Word Cardinals are a dismal 0-5 to start the season, owing to one of the absolute worst defenses in the country. This is a team that gives up 53.4% shooting from the floor and almost 40% from the arc. The Cardinals cover offensive players like 11-year-old boys at a middle school dance. They're kind of like afraid to actually make contact. But, and this is a crucial but, they've been a great spread team so far this year. They've covered every game as an underdog since their opener, including against Big 12 powerhouses Baylor and Texas Tech. Why? Their three-point shooting. This is a team that's in the top 10% of the country from the arc, shooting 39%. Every single one of their 5 starters is shooting over 37% from the arc. And Johnny Hughes III and Josh Morgan are both shooting over 50%. That's nothing to sneeze at. This team can put points on the board, particularly when their opponents get up to a huge lead and lay back on defense. Montana State is 2-3 and also has an atrocious defense, 304th in the country in points allowed, and they're actually even worse than the Cardinals at defending the arc. So all of that's got me thinking, wow, I'm thinking Incarnate Word could put up a whole ton of points today. The Bobcats have only covered once in their 5 games so far and never as the favorite. I think Incarnate Word keeps this close today. I'm taking the 10.5 points with the Cardinals. So over to the NBA, and we have got a primo game tonight. Let me tell you, between the Suns and the Nets. The Suns lost the NBA Finals after they went up 2-0, and they are playing pissed off about it. Their 15-game winning streak is the second longest in team history, and in the stretch, the Suns have been averaging 114.3 points. On Friday, Phoenix notched its 7th double-digit win of the streak when it cruised to a 118-97 rout of the Knicks. That was their 7th straight road win, by the way. So this is a really impressive streak they've been on. Since losing 3 of its first 5 games, Brooklyn is 12-2, and since its 18-point loss to Golden State on November 16th, Brooklyn's on a 4-game winning streak. They capped it off with a dominating 123-104 win at Boston on Wednesday. Naturally, the public has bet this total up insanely high from the opening of 219 up to 224.5. That's way too high. Look, I know these two teams have phenomenal offenses, but we're completely forgetting about the fact that they have great defenses as well. The Suns with Chris Paul, JaVale McGee, and DeAndre Ayton giving you the steals, blocks, and rebounds, respectively. The Nets seem to have found a new day-to-day center in LaMarcus Aldridge to be a rim protector, replacing that struggling Blake Griffin. These two defenses combine to allow just 208 points a game, and I think that's going to chop some of the points off of this total. We're fading the public here. Give me the under 224.5 points on this game. So then over to the NHL, big slate of games today, and the one that I'm looking at is the Kings and the Senators. We haven't really talked much about the Kings this year in our hockey plays. They're a team that's just kind of there in the Pacific Division, sitting at 8-3 and riding a 5-game losing streak. But they've been a really good puck line team so far at 12-7, whereas the Senators, man, they're just not even going through the pretense of being a competitive hockey team anymore. They have written off this season completely. Ottawa has lost 4 in a row and is 1-9-1 in its past 11 games. They've taken over the slot of the worst team in the NHL as far as points are concerned from the Coyotes, who I honestly thought would hold it in perpetuity. There's a reason I haven't faded the Coyotes in over a week. They're actually getting a little better right now. Right now, the Senators are just finding new and creative ways to lose hockey games and lose them big. They're coming off a back-to-back on the road after just getting massacred by the Ducks last night. This team didn't benefit at all from giving the 0-5 starting goalie Matt Murray the day off after his disaster against the Sharks. He gets another shot at redemption tonight, but I just don't like this team's chances. Jonathan Quick, the longtime veteran in goal tonight for the Kings, we know what he can do, especially against bad offenses. And this Senators offense is one of the worst in the NHL, and they've only gotten less productive down this stretch. They've been held to 2 goals or less in 5 out of their last 8 games. Kings are going to have themselves a get-right night tonight at home. I'm taking them on the puck line at -1.5 for the plus 132 money. That is going to be my final play of the day. Everyone bet safe, stay safe. Follow us on Twitter at Live1Sports. Check us out on Roku and Fire TV at the Live Ones. Enjoy Rivalry Week. It's going to be a fantastic day of sports, and we will see you tomorrow.